Whenever someone tell you something to do, think about it. Is it applicable to me or not? When I started this journey, they told me just networking, networking, networking. And I turned my head and I saw that all day I'm networking and I'm part of the meeting that people are just fighting.
Hey, everybody, welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany Alexander, and this is Unveiling Journeys. I'm so excited to have you here today. I have phenomenal guest, and let me just tell you 1 second about me. I love hanging out with people. I love meeting wonderful people, and then they introduce me to more phenomenal people, and it's because I like to ask people, "Who do you know that I need to know?" And that's it. That just gets the ball rolling, and then when you get to know some of the coolest people ever, you can't help but stop being quiet about them. And you need to tell everyone. And that's why the podcast was born. I get to introduce some really phenomenal people to everybody that listens to the show. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So, what I'm going to do is introduce my guest. I'm so excited. Boshra, you are on the show. You're live. Thank you so much for coming and being here today. Do me a favor, tell everybody a little bit about what you're up to right now and who you are.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's very exciting moment for me. So I, at the moment, I'm working on my baby, which is still growing. I always want to create something since I was a child, and I left the corporate world last year, and I started working on this new baby. All I do now is helping people who have their business with their audit, basically auditing their marketing spends and finding two things. One, if there's any leak, where is that and why it's happening and how we can fix it. Number two is if there is a channel that we think that is going to be most profitable way for them and they can scale their business from it, what channel is that and how they can do it. I'm very busy with that. In addition that I'm busy with the school for the kids, being part of the PTO and dealing with a lot of pain and chronic issues that I have and all of that.
Right? That's so much. I love that you're doing this for business owners because sometimes you get thrown into the world of marketing. You're like, well, you get told to spend this. But what I've had is an experience of any marketer I've talked to, they each all believe that their way is the correct way. And I'm like, how can they all be correct in the way that they're doing it? So there's got to be some overlap or some excess or some extra. So I like that you're like this audit feature to go in for them to make sure what's really working for them, maybe what's unnecessary or what could be working better. This is amazing. But tell me, I want to hear your whole story. Like what did you think you were going to be like? Okay, I want to hear all of it. Where are you from? And where did you think that you were going to be? Like for me, I want to be an astronaut. I'm not currently. So like what did you want to be growing up? What did you go to school for? Like tell me. It's a long story to unpack, but I want to hear all of it. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Came here to United States 15 years ago. Believe it or not, I grew up with the war. So when I was born, it was right after the revolution in Iran. And when I was around 3, 4, it was the Iran and Iraq war. And as a child, I remember the moment that changed my whole life. And the moment was we were playing with my friends in the alley because we were poor at that time. We were playing in the alley with the kids, and then suddenly, like literally, you're blinking, and when I open my eyes, all I see is pieces of my friends in front of me with blood and smoke everywhere, and I'm speechless. And I had my mom made me a doll. I was holding it. It was wool material, and it was very bloody. And I remember I was running inside the yard and my mom was looking for me and she was shaking me and I couldn't talk. Apparently, later on, I learned that at that age, my body, my brain was trained to dissociate as the coping mechanism. Because of that, going forward until like I'm 43 now, maybe 6, 7 years ago that I met with my husband. I was abused a lot, sexually, mentally, emotionally, physically, by family, non-family, friend. I was married before with my ex. Um, and the whole reason was my brain didn't know a better way to protect me. All it knew was grow up faster and try to be the best because you have no value and you are helping others survive because I was the only survival person in that community as far as being a kid. Um, however, growing up, as I said, we were very poor. I remember always uh, growing up, we didn't have like 24/7 hours and 7 days TV. I remember we had just 1 hour a day. They were running the cloak program on the TV, and like, oh, some of it was just cartoon. And always, I remember I was seeing houses that they were like this, and all my painting and everything was like that. I didn't have anyone outside it Iran, and I didn't know what is continent, right? All I was just saying to people was, I am living in this house soon. And I didn't know anything better. Age 27, when I won the lottery green card to America, I was not knowing any English because I was going to France. I got my diploma and I got everything to go to France and study there. And it's funny enough, when I came here, I was reading everything in French. But when I came here, it's funny that, the first thing I saw was a house like this, and my sibling, my cousin, we all grew up together. They were all saying that, "You were always saying, 'I'm living in this house.' You were not saying, 'I want to,' or 'I'm hoping or wishing,' no." And in addition to that, later on, I realized that that is a gifted talent that I have, that I can see future, and also thing that I was processing a lot in my brain. And apparently, back in the time, they will call me I'm a psycho person. No, I was apparently very talented that I could tell the story among numbers.
Yeah.
That's why Matrix is my favorite movie because those numbers that are moving is just like I'm reading the pattern. I came to the United States. I already had my master in economics and bachelor in math, but when I came here, I started again. I got second master in econ. While I was doing that, I was not satisfied. I was just hungry to learn, and I got my actuarial test, one after the other, and then I started working at the financial institutes. And I was very lucky and very fortunate to have good leadership that they told me what I have is a gifted talent, and they started guiding me to use that talent into my career.
Mm,
Soon, I moved up pretty quickly and in my career, and director, VP, this, and I realized that something is missing all the time. So I started my PhD, I got that, I was not satisfied, and then someone, hero, who is retired, and I love this person a lot. He told me that I'm gonna give you something hard, and you should say yes. I said, okay. So he put me in a position that I have to deal with non-technical people, which means like ops. I turned to one of the expensive people as far as being executive in the bank because they call me a middle woman.
yeah.
I always was going, I was like a floating executive sitting in different departments and solving problems because I had good knowledge of math, but I didn't want to just sit down and do programming. I didn't want to be just ops person. So I was talking to these two different teams and learning the issue that they have and connecting the dots, telling the story, digest it, and tell the story to the other party in their own language. That's what he was. I remember I was crying going to his office. I'm leaving. He said, nope, raise your bar another one. Raise your bar another one. He was giving me a hard time, but I think the most
It's a great leader.
how to maximize the usage of it. You know what I mean? And that was the moment that last year I started learning that corporate world is not satisfying because there are a lot of their culture, their politics, and I'm not a politician at all. This is me, who I am. Uh, I never talk behind someone. If I don't like what you're doing, I will tell you. And if I like it, I encourage you. And I was growing so much of team around me that they were very depending on me and they liked me because I was giving them freedom.
Mm,
But this is not the culture that usually corporate wants, especially nowadays. Because of that, I was pushed towards thinking about I should go and create something for myself. That was the moment I thought I want to create something. As always, I don't want to follow someone. Thinking about marketing and creating audit and analytics over the marketing was something.
hmm. So when you went from this first portion of this job, what did that evolve into next? Like, tell me more of how your story starts to unfold.
I realized that last year when officially September, October that I, launched this business, I started networking and I'm very lucky to be connected with some good people in networking that some of them. Um, it helped me a lot to learn how to sell under your name. I was a good executive. I was very professional, but I was not realizing I am selling under million of dollars brand name thing, right? So I was not working towards making their name out there. I was just working towards my specific work. However, now the hard part for me was just telling people who I am, creating a trust, creating a relationship. A lot of people that I have seen when they start with me as far as networking are expecting as soon as they say that they sell it and people trust them and they just purchase their $20,000 product from them. No, I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know what people don't know me yet, right? That was a moment that I started creating different free techniques, free tricks for business owners. Hey, I'm going to give you this free because you don't need me all the time. If you learn the techniques, you can do it in the low level for yourself, right? The main thing that I started working with different business owners was you don't need to do Google ads because 60% of people are doing Google ads. You should look for the marketing channel that works for your business. And you should realize how I can gather data around it. I don't need to be data scientist. I don't need to have a big data team, right? Just very simple question that I'm passing around with people. It helps them to understand how they can interact with their marketing team. We are not saying do not do marketing. We are
Yeah.
not saying marketing team are bad. Marketing team, majority of them are very good at doing the action of marketing. But if you want them to tell the single story for all marketing channel, that's where the lack of information coming to the gate.
Right. Hmm.
My dream, I want to fulfill it. I'm thinking to have $1 million. No, actually, not $1 million, $1 billion company. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking very
Yeah,
high.
yeah. So when people are thinking like, "Wow, when is it a right time and place for me?" Like, what are the thoughts they're having when they need to reach out to someone like you for your company?
Um, I would always say, or maybe it's just me, start early. When you data, when you try to establish all the reporting dashboards and organizing everything, when as you're growing and you have more data, you're just focusing on the growth. You're not focusing on setting up the structure because the structure is there. We can modify it later, but the structure is there, right? And you are clear, okay, this is stage, I'm gonna do this. And Boshra told me I don't need marketing, I can work on this. Later on, when I'm making more money, I have a marketing team. Now I can hire Boshra or someone like Boshra to help, right? The other people are the people who already have their business. That's what I tell everybody. You can lie. Data cannot lie. There are a lot of data around every single person in this world. Believe it or not. Even when you're born, the first thing they say, they don't say what is your name. They say how much is the tall,
Right?
how much is the weight, right?
Yeah.
That's simple. So I bet you, even if you have a very small Etsy store, right? There are a bunch of data around it that with the help of free open AI, you can do marketing for yourself. You don't need to hire a marketing team. You can establish a good analytics around your business.
Yeah.
And the big businesses, we can help them to organize their data that they can make a better decision based on better insight. A lot of business owners that I'm dealing with, they are they're damn good, believe me. But they when you ask them why you did that, they're like, "Oh, my experience and my gut says that this is gonna be good." And when people ask me, "Where are you sitting there?" I'm sitting right there. You believe in yourself, right? Well, when you have a client that you want to sell that product to them, they're asking you the proof, right? When I come to the game, I start using your expertise, your data around you, your business knowledge, and all of those, and create lots of charts and graphs and numbers to show the client what you were saying that you believe it's true, it's really true.
Let me ask you, this is a lot of work. Like you're like even just the requirement of finding the data, inputting the data, getting it from someone's hands, and then assessing it all and putting it all together. Like why do you keep showing up to do all this? Because it's a lot.
First of all, for clients that we get them, the first thing to prove to them that, like what we said, establish a trust. I never, especially me that I work with Federal Reserve, audit, and all of that. I never ask the clients to send me their credential ever. There are enough data out there, open source, that I can tell you two, three things that you're missing in your business and your marketing. When I show that and when I say how you can fix that, then it's the time that you trust me. I want to work with you or I don't, right? Why I do this, you may not believe it. I do gardening, I don't know, baking, cooking, all of that, running the party, because in my mind, everything is data numbers. I'm just connecting the dots, right? I never measure anything for my baking or for my cooking, but it's like automatically everything is here. And let me tell you the truth. When after my twins were born in 2020, when they were born, I was diagnosed with a very rare disease and basically I was dying. They told us that I have 2 more weeks. And that was 2021. And the point for me was not, I was not upset that I'm dying. The upsetting point for me was I could not process the stuff in my brain anymore. And it's making me very, very sad.
Yeah.
And still, I mean, until the end of my life, I will suffer from the pain. But the moment that you see me, I'm upset, it's not about amount of the work that I have or over meeting or whatever. It's when I feel like my brain, due to the chronic pain, is very inflamed and there's a lot of foggy things around my brain and I cannot process stuff. And it happens a lot of time that I stop even talking. Like I lose, like I'm talking to you, next minute I'm not able to talk because here is talking, but my mouth is not working.
Mm,
Um, but I like it. I like to mess around with the data. I like to tell something that is new that is going to change someone's life.
yeah,
Um,
that's cool. At this point, people are thinking like, "I wanna start early. How do I get a hold of you?" Like, what's your favorite way for people to come find you?
yes, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can just search Boshra Kargar on LinkedIn, Boshra, and last name is Kargar. Or you can go to infinitymetrics.com. You can set up a call, free call there. And when you're setting a call, then you put your information, your website information, and everything. I do the research of what meet you, and I know what we're going to talk about. But basically, I have a very unique name, believe it or not.
I love the name of your company so much, Infinity Metrics, like, give me all the data. I love that.
This
I
is
mean
what I promise. Like my pitch is you go infinite with infinity metrics.
yeah, yeah.
And I promise
That's
you.
cool. As long as they give you everything that you need, but that's digging it out of them, right? That's another problem for another day. I know what it's like to get data from people. It's impossible sometimes, but man, this is so neat. At this point, I want you guys all who are listening to go friend Boshra on LinkedIn. If you're like, I can't, no, you can't. Just go friend me. I'll get you with her, and then you're going to see this, so you can go straight to her website. I only have two more questions left for you for the show. I mean, you said you had 2 weeks to live and now you're thriving. What's on the horizon for you, for your business?
The issue that I have every moment is, oh my God, I have a lot of idea here, and there's no guarantee for me I am alive tomorrow.
Hmm.
The thriving for me is I want to be different. Don't want to sit down and depend on others because after 43 years, I learned no one care about you except yourself. Trust me. I love my husband. I mean, he is the love of my life, but even I love him, I don't sit and depending. If he doesn't have a feeling going and running, I'll do it. I never let anything put me down. I'm a fighter and I feel there is something that at the end of the life, God will ask you, what did you do with yourself? I gave you the most valuable thing that I gave to none of the creature, which is the brain. How did you use it? And I feel responsible for that.
Yeah. I love you leaning into the gifts that you've been given from God because I feel the same. I feel like we're all blessed with certain gifts that are sometimes intangible and that you're able to use your calculator brain to help people with their metrics. It's so fun that you found like this is a business model that you can run. And, all right. So my last question, because you have so many good one-liners, what should we wrap up the show with as like your golden wisdom nuggets? Like, could be a couple one-liners, it could be a story, it could be a list of to-dos that we all need to work on. Yeah, and then we'll end the show.
Say, don't do something just because someone else said so. Whenever someone tell you something to do, think about it. Is it applicable to me or not? When I started this journey, they told me just networking, networking, networking. And I turned my head and I saw that all day I'm networking and I'm part of the meeting, that people are just fighting, dissociating as a technique. And I was like, this is not a healthy environment. When out of 100 people, 90%, they are all business coach and they're all fighting together.
Yeah.
That is not meaningful. So I sit back and I just learn among all of these networking that I'm doing, which one is more valuable for me, which one is not. Even though if some of them are free, doesn't mean they have value for you.
Mhm.
You are the only person can make a decision. Is it good for you or not? You make that decision. Okay. Now, Tiffany says that, okay, I know that I'm not gonna spend a lot of money on the Google ads now. But what is next? I don't know. Then reach out to me and we can just talk. I'm not selling you, I'm not pitching you. I'm gonna give you a free technique to go over your business and see what is good for you. First moment is just realizing I'm not doing this just because other people are doing it. And then
Yeah.
second is analyzing what is good for you.
That's great. I love that. And I like that you're available. So go put yourself on Boshra's calendar. And then I want to say thank you so much for your time for coming here today. And thank you everybody for listening. It's important that I get to share all the people that I meet with my audience. And so I appreciate you guys coming and listening to all the recordings. And then I look forward to seeing everybody on whatever next call. So don't forget to go follow Boshra, check out our website, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.